Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Music Scrap, the musical scrapper. It was a nice, beautiful, cool fall day, but it was blue skies and a nice warm sun, so it wasn't too bad today. Beautiful fall day here on the east coast of Canada. I'm recording live on Ustream.tv, so if you're watching the recording on YouTube, this is not edited. It's recorded live with a live chat audience. So just fast forward, scrub through any of the more boring parts that you don't want to watch. I don't edit it when I upload it to YouTube, so take it as it is. So today my new, this is a Fusion palette. It's called the Fusion palette by Mission Magello, which makes the Mission Gold paints. And this one has 33 wells. And I like these better than the other ones with the half pans or even the full pans, because I like these hold about 1.5 times or more than what a full pan holds. They're bigger wells, so even if you're using a bigger brush, you're not getting around. Plus, I find those tins that have the half pans, sometimes the pans jiggle around and move on you, and that really annoys me when I'm trying to get pigment out and the stupid little pan moves about, even if you tighten it up, you know. So I bought a second one of these. Now, this one's slightly different than my other one. I'll show you my other one. My other one has my Shinhan PWC watercolors in them. Shinhan has 3 or 4 different watercolor tube paints, and the PWC is the highest artist quality color. So you will see that this one has 24 wells. And then here it has Monopoly from McDonald's. And then it has the two open mixing palettes here. But this comes out so you can use this area. This comes out so you can use that, or you can use that. I don't use it as much. I use it mostly when I need to make a big amount of a color or something, which I don't very often as yet because I'm not doing large. I don't do really large paintings. I prefer to use these little ones for my mixing, which I have to clean out before today. Forgot to clean those out. But this comes out just like the other one. Well, it's new, so it's harder to get out. It's not loose yet. But believe me, it does come out. There we go. And I will use it out because I'll use just this beside me. So this comes out, so then you can have this for mixing if you want, and 2. So you have 3 large mixing areas. So I love this palette. Hey Janet. Hi Jen. Nice to see you all. I hope I didn't miss anyone else coming in. Oh, I missed Denise coming in. Hello Denise. I don't know if I missed anyone else. Oh yeah, I missed Linda Mayo. Ooh, I've missed Uma. Okay, so let me put this down on my desk area here, if I can. And I think part of the reason why I like the larger wells also is with my eyesight, it's just nicer to have larger areas. Oh, I'm going to keep this here because I need to continue talking about how I set up my paints. So I use the split primary paint color wheel. Okay. So in a split primary, if I have time at the end, I'll go in and fill this in, because I have not done this for my M-grams yet. So with the split primary color wheel, it's a really clear way of mixing your paints and laying out your paints so that you know how to mix your pure secondary colors. All right. That doesn't mean you don't ever want to make the other secondary mixes, but it's good to know how to mix the pure secondary colors, because the other mixing is a muted result. So if you want a clean secondary color versus a muted secondary color, this shows you how to do it. So what you do is, up here, instead of having just yellow, you put a warm yellow and a warm yellow on the left, cool yellow on the right. And I have this on my blog, I believe, available if you ever want to download this and use it. Warm yellow and a cool yellow. So I have my warm yellow, okay, which is my nickel quinacridone gold. All right. So my warm color, my warm yellow. Actually, I can use this instead of this. So I have my warm yellow and my cool yellow. All right. So just I have my split primary wheel here, kind of. All right. So then here's my, my warm red and your cool red. So your warm red is the one that's closer to orange, which in my case here is I have Pyro red. Oh yes, I will, Eileen. Thank you. Right after I finish going through this color wheel, I will talk about that. Thank you. Yeah. So remind me whenever I'm done talking about this before I start my first painting, okay? I will talk about the color, the Streamathon. So we have a warm red and we have the cool red. Cool red is alizarin crimson. Your cool red's the one that's closer to the purple. Warm red closer to your yellows, okay? So your cool red's, well, technically closer to your blue. And your warm red has the closer to your yellow. All right. Then with your blues, you have your warm blue and your cool blue. Your warm blues are the blues closer to red, and your cool blues the one that's closer to green. Okay. So it's either your red or your green. Very few warm blues. The blues are the most difficult ones to see or to know, but there are very few warm blues. So your ultramarines are your warm blues. Most of the others are your cool blues, like cerulean blue deep, and the cobalt teal, which is kind of a green. It's a little more green than blue, but it is a warm blue. It will mix, or cool blue. It will work. So your cobalt blue is, depending on the brand, you can see that the cobalt blue is not as green as this cerulean blue. But it's definitely not as red as the ultramarine. A lot of cobalt blues are more of a true blue, but this one's a little more warm, a little more cool than it is warm. So, Eileen's already telling Jen what she's going to do Thursday on her stream. So then I put, so those are my yellows, my reds, and my blues, okay, on my split primary, 2 of each. In this case, I have 3 primary blues because the cobalt blue is a little more pure, so I like that. So then in between, if you mix red and your yellow, you get orange, so it's in between in my setup here. So I have my Azo orange. Then for my greens, I have sap green. Now, compared to my Shinhan, this is a much nicer green than the Shinhan sap green. No, I shouldn't say nice. Well, it is nicer. It's nicer as far as using it as is for landscapes. Okay? The sap green in the Shinhan isn't really as natural looking. Kind of have to, let me get my sample out for my Shinhan. The Shinhan, you have to kind of, there, you can see the difference between this one and the Shinhan. You have to kind of, I find I have to tone the Shinhan a little bit, neutralize it just a little bit to make it look like a color that you would find in nature. Okay, so I do like the sap green better. I also like the Azo yellow better than the lemon yellow. It's it's very close, but I find the Azo yellow, this one in the M gram, it does glow a little more. Like, I think it's a little more transparent than the lemon yellow, which is probably really helps. I don't know, I love this ultramarine, the M gram ultramarine. Love it. Cobalt violet is a very this is new for me, but when I was putting it down there before I started recording, it is not a very vibrant pigment. Like, it takes more pigment to get this much color than of any of the other, but it is a really nice, well, all the cobalts are nice. Oh, you guys can't see. Yeah, you can see it a little bit. The cobalts are very nice granulating colors. All right. So then my dioxazine purple's nearer blue. My cobalt violet's nearer the reds. So those are my colors. And then the only neutral that I have is the burnt sienna. I tend to use burnt umber more than burnt sienna when I had my Shinhans, but this burnt sienna is nicer than my Shinhan. I shouldn't say nicer, it's different. The burnt sienna in my M grams is kind of in between my burnt umber and my burnt sienna of my Shinhans. It's a little less yellow than the burnt sienna, a little less orange, I guess. It's not really yellow. A little less orange than the burnt sienna in my... Now, that doesn't mean one is better than the other. It's just good to know if I'm using both palettes. Right now, I'm keeping them separated. Right now, I'm keeping my Shinhans separated from my M gram because I want to... These ones I'm very familiar with. I've used them quite a bit. Now I want to use my M grams until I decide which, colors of which one I want to put and keep in my palette, if that makes sense. The M gram diox. Anyway, the opaque white. It shows. I mean, it still shows through a little bit once it's dry, but it's quite opaque for a watercolor. So, all right. So I guess that's my M grams. That's how I set it up. My split primary color wheel. All right. Now, before I start painting, for those of you who are new to our group since last New Year's Eve, on New Year's Eve, all except for 1 year, for the last, 5 years? Except for 1 year, we've had a Streamathon on New Year's Eve. For those of us who don't want to go out and be with stupid people doing stupid, silly things on New Year's Eve, or don't have any people to go out and do stupid things with on New Year's Eve, we do a Streamathon. So, excuse me for a minute. Trying to get my table here. Uh-oh. I hope I didn't mess anything up there. No. Okay. Phew. Scared myself for a minute. I bumped my keyboard. Sorry that my voice is froggy, but I was out for brunch with my friend and did a lot of talking, and my voice is not back yet. So anyway, as I was saying, so squirrel. So on New Year's Eve we do Streamathon, and we basically do. Last time we had all 24 hours filled. So what we do is we start and follow each time zone and celebrate New Year's Eve in each time zone around the world. And we have people, all of our streamers, who line up to stream. And we just pass it off. Some stream for an hour, some for an hour and a half, and some for 2 hours. It depends, because those of us who stream, I try the best I can to give first choice to streamers who live in the particular time zone if they want. Now, some people, like for example, maybe there's a streamer in the UK and she doesn't want to stream at midnight her time, or so they may choose to stream earlier or later. All right, and I will have a blog post ready. It's not quite ready to go live yet, my blog post. I just have to update some things and make sure everything is in there correctly. So people, what I do is those who are regular streamers, I try to give those regular streamers, those who stream almost every week, first choice of their stream time. If I can. Last year worked out really easily, actually. It was, once I had everything up and on the blog and organized, it was actually easy to fill people in. It worked really quickly, really easily. We had enough people. We had a couple of spare people who said, I'll stream here just in case, someone gets sick, and we are doing it 7 weeks ahead. So something may come up for, and so we do have stand-ins, or I am also a stand-in for people who can't stream. So it will go up on my blog, and so regular streamers will have a first chance of their choice for time to stream, and then other people who may not, who stream now and then, or may want to do it for the first time on New Year's Eve, then they can fill in all those leftover spaces. And so we usually end off at like a midnight to like 11 to 1 time zone in the Pacific time zone. So last year we did stream for 24 hours. I was up for 36 hours by the end of the Streamathon last year. It was pretty punchy. Pretty punchy by the end of it. I fell asleep during Sarah's stream. So, Jenna drinks. Yeah, Jenna drank during her stream last year. She had one drink. Oh gosh. And we don't do great. Now the year, the last year that Jen organized it, she got big prizes from sponsors and stuff. I'm not doing that. Some streamers just stream like they would regularly stream every week. You know, some people do a special project that can be done in the, you know, in their stream time slot. I like to do a calendar each year. I do a little perpetual calendar or some kind of calendar, and I give the pattern. I've had a pattern each year that I've done, that I've put out on my blog ahead of time, so that if people want to work along with me and make their little yearly calendar, then they can, or people can just watch. Some streamers like to give away the project that they make on their stream, or have a little Happy Mail giveaway. It is not necessary. You do not have to do a giveaway. But that is totally up to the streamer. If they want to do a giveaway, great. If they don't, great. It's all about getting together, having fun on New Year's Eve with our online fibs. So please watch Twitter. I will post on Twitter the link to my blog once I get it all finished. I'm going to try and have it ready tonight. If not tonight, then it'll go up sometime tomorrow for sure. Okay. So, any questions about the Streamathon before I move on to my painting? All right, I can zoom in a little bit. Let me zoom in. Sorry, guys. Oof. I apologize. Watch your eyes. All right, let's do a focus. All right. So, I'm way behind. I'm even farther behind. I only finished to C. So I have to start with Stumble. I'm all set up to do Stumble, Soar, and Casual, so we'll see if I get that far or not. We shall see. So we have Dream. And I'm doing watercolor, practicing using my, well, tonight I'm going to use my M. Grahams, but I'm also, some of these I used my, I should have wrote a little note for myself which ones I used. This one I used my, oh yeah, this one I used the Daniel Smith Sennelier and Schmucke. Thanks, Joan. Well, Cindy Lou Who, this year will be much less work for me because I'm just taking the schedule that I had last year, deleting everybody's names. The time slots will all be the same. So, it'll be a lot less work this year because, you know, the hard time-consuming work of making up the schedule is already done. I'm just reusing the same schedule, so. This one actually is home. Is Take Me Home, Country Roads. And then Hope. So this is the Hope Diamond. My first time trying to do a gem. Not too bad. Not too bad. If you look at it from a distance, don't look at it up close because it does not look like a gem at all if you look up close. I'm not sure, Wendy, because this year I'm giving away, for Christmas, I'm giving videos, home movies. So I'm working on, right now, downloading all my VHS home movies and digitizing them. So I have to download them from my VCR into my computer. And then I have to take them, and I'm doing it in the small sections already. Then I have to edit. I have to add text. I'm making them into movies, so I'll be adding text. Some will be pictures. I'm also going to use pictures. So I'll be doing still pictures and video. Anyway, so there's going to be quite a number of videos. And I'm just making a collection of videos, and everybody's going to get the collection of my home videos. And I got my first video camera when Stacia was 5. Yeah, Stacia was 5. When I got my first video camera. She had just turned 5, and she's almost 33. Yeah, she's almost 33, and she was 5 when I got my first camera. So I've got lots of years of video to go through. Now, granted, a lot of my videos are already digital when I switched to a digital video camera, but I've got hours and hours still of VHS videos to go through, so yeah. Oh no, Eileen. It is a lot of work. Here's my candy apple for the prompt suite. This is my favorite one so far. I love how this turned out. I think it turned out looking so cool. It really looks like a sphere. I love how my little drops of candy turned out. I really like how this one turned out. Very happy with my candy apple. Now, don't laugh at this next one. My poor motorhome. This one is travel. And, of course, we've traveled. It looks like a poor dog. A dog with a camper on its back. Anyway, whatever. This is our camper. We did a lot of traveling, so the road's going off into the sunset. Anyway. Jen, toffee apples are different. We have toffee or caramel apples as well. This is actually candy. It's almost like, you know how if cotton candy gets wet and it turns red and almost like hard candy? That's what this is. So it's called a candy apple. But you can also make toffee apples. There's difference. We have toffee apples here too. But this is actually a hard red candy shell. Oh, Eileen, you're so bad. Don't make memories of that. And then this one, this prompt is C. Yeah. And I took Away from the Roll of the Sea is a Cape Breton folk song. So the song talks about the boats being in the harbor and tied up away from the roll of the sea. So that's how this one was inspired. So now on we go. So this one today's is Stumble. Which one's first? Stumble. Aha. So I have a quote. There's some songs that use the word stumble and fall, but none of them inspired me. So I found a quote that I liked. So okay, so I have a quote. Let thy step be slow and steady, that thou stumble not. Ieyasu Tokugawa. So that sounds like a Japanese proverb or whatever. Let thy step be slow and steady. Let thy step be slow and steady, that thou stumble not. So that's the quote. And then I have this is going to be my reference photo. True, Jen. I should just paint Eileen, shouldn't I? But I only ever saw one picture of Eileen, and for some reason I did not save it to my photos. Don't ask me why I didn't. It was very silly not to do that. I think, though, instead of putting these on the sandy, rocky, I think I'm actually going to put like a grassy background. So I'm going to do a green background with the brown shoes. So let's see here. I'm trying to draw my own things these days. Let's see how well it goes. Oh, just a minute. I have to change my settings so that it doesn't keep going dark on me every 2 minutes. There. And I'm going to close all my other things that I have open so that my battery doesn't run down quite so much. Actually, I think this morning Dee Dee was making fun of me when I was trying to do the stick of my candy apple. I erased it about 5 times trying to get it straight, but she was like, "Oh yeah, why didn't you just pull out a ruler?" And yeah, I could have, but I think I'm trying to work on my drawing skills. And one of the things I really have to work on is drawing straight lines. So so that's why I was trying to do it without the ruler. And believe me, my drawing needs a lot of work. I end up... But that's what this I'm considering this a journal, watercolor journal. And my biggest issue is proportion, obviously. Hope I'm doing it dark enough so you guys can see as well. Oh, okay, hold on. I have to do a second line here for the sole. I hope you guys can see my lines. You sort of, you can. Oh, an x-ray of busted ribs. Oh, what a good idea, Azure. I should have seen that before I started, but ugh. I chose this one because the laces aren't tied. And you can stumble on your laces if they're not tied, obviously, so Alright, so I need to fix this here because this is separate. Oh, sorry. Good to turn down my sound effects so I don't get my tweet notifications. Okay, so I hope my head's not in your guys' way too much. My biggest problem is going to be doing the second one so that it looks like the same pair of shoes. Not the biggest problem doing the first shoe. The biggest problem is going to be doing the second shoe so that it looks like the same pair of shoes. Welcome back, Jen. Hey, Jen, see Azure's idea? You could do that on a journal page on Thursday. You could do an x-ray of cracked ribs in honor of Eileen. That could be one of your journal pages on Thursday. All right, this one is too far in. to get better perspective. I'm not going to draw in the laces. I'm going to, I'll put those in after. Yeah, you could always collage, Jen. I can't draw either, but hey, I'm doing it. It even almost looks like a shoe. Almost. But that's why I'm practicing. So, like I said, this is going to be the tough part. Making it look like it's the same pair of shoes. Oh, no, that's not right at all. See? Here we go. That's better. Too straight, Jean. Hold on, I think I need to turn it this way for the moment. There we go. I think that's a little too far up. So this image, these shoes are from Paint My Photo. It's a great site to get royalty-free images to use in your art. Not too bad. Trick for that, Jen, because I always used to be that way. And part of it's because of my eyesight, too. Right? The trick to that is to hold your pencil up here instead of down here. If you hold it up here, it's much easier to do a light touch. So the only lace I'm going to do is the one that comes down from here. Actually, it's falling more straight down. All right. Not going to worry about that. All right. So obviously my shoes are going to be burnt sienna. And then to get burnt umber using burnt sienna, you add a little bit of ultramarine. A tiny bit of ultramarine will give you will darken up your burnt sienna for you. So not if you're going to stream it, Jen. If you're going to stream it online, if I was just sitting here and drawing for my own art and I wasn't going to post it anywhere, yes, you can use any image you want. But if you're doing it live online, no, technically you can't. Those pictures and photos belong to people. You have to get permission. So there's Paint My Photo and there's Pixabay. They're both good sites to get photos or your own photos that you take yourself. All right, so let's start. I am going to use my 1/2 inch. I need my, there. Where's my larger brush? Oh, there it is. For the background. So for wetting the background, I'm going to test it. Looks like there's some paint in it still, so I just don't. No, it's okay. It's just a little stained, I guess. So I'm just going to hold it up so I can make sure I see the wet. This is a Pentalic watercolor journal. So it's watercolor paper, cold press, 140 pound as far, I think, if I remember correctly. It's really nice. It's really nice paper. I don't think there's cotton in it. I can't remember. It should look on should look on Amazon. I can't remember if there is cotton in it or if it's all wood. But I do have a 100% watercolor journal that Darren gave to me, but I didn't want to use it for these prompts with my new paints because I did not want to change my paints and my paper both at the same time. So since my M-grams are new paints, I decided I would use this journal and use paper that I was familiar with before I switched to my 100% cotton book. So like I said, instead of doing the sandy dirt background, I am going to use green and kind of make them sitting in the grass instead, just for a little variation in color. I'm going around my shoe. I like to do my backgrounds wet and wet. I'm going to do a wash of sap green. And then I will add a little texture to make it look like grass. So you'll notice I'm going over areas more than once because you want to try and get it so that the whole page is the same wet value if you can. So you want to saturate it. So you do have to go over it at least twice. Or I find I have to. When you're going around objects and stuff so that it'll stay wet. So the first time kind of wets it, but the water absorbs into the paper. So then your second wetting, the water stays a little more on top. All right. All right. Oh, darn. Forgot to clean, but I've got a green one here, so I'm all good. So going into my sap green. I need a fair amount, so I'm going to try and mix a decent amount. Can't sit that on top of my paints yet because... So even though it's already on an angle, I'm going to hold it up again just because I'm trying to get it close enough to my eyes so that I can see my lines. Going wet on wet for this first layer allows you a little more time to get your pigment down and moving where it is without worrying about keeping your area wet. Sorry if the angle's weird for you, but I've got to do this. If you're new to my channel, you may not realize that I only have 10% vision, so I have to move things so that I can see them, and sometimes I'm guessing, so lines aren't always accurate in the end. My brush is drying out some. Someone's texting me. I have to finish this background before I can check the text because I can't stop in the middle. I always check my texts because my sister often texts about Mom, and one of Mom's doctors passed away this week. the one that was taking care of the wound on her foot. And he was the surgeon who did the last part of her amputation in '99, and the surgeon who fixed her twisted baby toe about 6 years ago, I think it was. So it was very sad. He's a very well-known general and orthopedic surgeon in New Glasgow. So it was very sad. He had a heart attack and died. He was 71 and still working hard. Alright, let me check my tweet or text just in case. Yes, when you go into Google, if you Google free images, you can also do that. Okay, tweet. Text. Oh. That's really weird. It's not coming up that there's a message. It's very strange. Just a second. Huh. That's really strange. I don't know. Very weird. All right. So I'm going to heat gun that to dry the background layer. So hello to anyone who has come in since I started streaming. If I miss saying hi, I apologize. So this prompt was stumble. So I've got a pair of shoes here with an open shoelace and a quote. That is my inspiration for the prompt stumble. Okay, Jen, she may already be gone and on her way to the craft room, because with the delay I'm probably late saying okay. Oh, actually I should sit these this way so that the brush end is out. Not. I put a lot of water down, so he was, the doctor was Dr. Cole, originally from St. Vincent and Quakos, I think that's what it is. One of those Caribbean islands down there. And he came up to Dalhousie University. He did his teaching degree first and went back to his hometown and taught down there in St. Vincent and Quakos for a few years, but he really wanted to be a doctor, so he went back to Dalhousie and did his medical degree and became a surgeon, general and orthopedic surgeon. Anyway, on a brighter note, the quote is, "Let thy step be slow and steady, that thou stumble not." By Ieyasu Tokugawa. Not sure if that's the right pronunciation. I apologize if it's not. So. Now I'm going to go in with my fan brush. I like to use my fan brush for grass. So what I do is I wet it and then I splay it out so that the so that they're not all perfectly straight and even. And I'm going to go in with, I need to make more green. And I'm going to make the green a little less water this time. I'll go in and put some grass up over the shoes later once I paint the shoes. For now, I'm just getting some texture on here. Dry brush for the most part. Brush is damp but not wet. Oh, I think hold on, I've got to reset my, no one said anything for a little while. I want to refresh my chat just in case. Here. Just a moment. Oh, no one said anything since Jones. That is so sad. What is going on? How come oh. Okay, that was a text. That's really strange. Oh, there's an update waiting. Alright, I may as well let it do the update. Install. Uh-oh, that's not right. Installing. Alright, sorry. My friend did text me that time. Okay. Thanks, Joan. Okay, no worries. I know people usually sometimes art a lot. They're doing their own art or they're eating because I stream during the supper hour. So. Oh, my brush is a little too wet. I need to make more paint. spread them a little bit. I need to get an old, what I really need to get for this kind of thing is an old hog hair fan brush that's nice and stiff, because this is a little soft for getting there we go. Alright, so leave that as the background for now. Alright. Alright, need to clean out this. I'll leave the green in there. These are mixes, so I don't like to start from mixes that I don't know. So I'm going to clean it out. There's not a whole lot. Not really wasting pigment by cleaning this out like this. And yes, I know I could take it out and put it on a page and use it as a background, but I know that I wouldn't do that, so why bother? I would not use the page, so I may as well just not do that. That's not me. I wouldn't do it. So, alright, so now, so I just do it with water and now I'll get a baby wipe and do the final cleaning. Darn voice. I've tried calling my doctor a couple of times, but it seems the receptionist is always either on the phone or they're out for lunch or they've closed for the afternoon. It's like, really? Ugh. I never seem to get actual phone. Okay. So burnt sienna is next. So my shoes will all get a layer of burnt sienna. So this is my number 7 brush. Okay, so I will start with a nice light layer. So I've got my color mixed there. I rarely use right from the pan. That would only be for like if I'm doing a details, like fine lines and stuff. Hey, Lola. Hi, Dorothy. Alright, so I'm going to do a first wash as wet on wet. Oops. Wow. Little too much water on that one. That's why it's good that watercolor paper is absorbent and it absorbs so fast. Because then when you put too much water down like that, you can save it from running all the way to the bottom if you're fast enough by just tipping it in the other direction. The brushes I'm using are Zen brushes by Royal Langnickel. They're squirrel and synthetic squirrel mix. And it does make a difference when you're using actual brushes made for watercolor, decent quality. These aren't really expensive. They were like in Canadian, they were $65 for a set of 13 brushes, including a palette knife. So not really expensive, but decent, really nice brushes for the price. Let's just say that. It's a very light mix for this first layer, because that way the areas that are very light can stay with just this first layer, and then I'll add other layers for the darker and the details. Nice! Gosh! It is a pair of shoes! Jeez Louise. Jeez. And I was worried about Eileen and Janet. Dot's always a bad one on my stream. Oh, she's so nice and demure at Dee Dee's and Janet's streams. She's a little rascal at my streams. Gosh. All right. So for layer 2, I'm going to make a slightly darker mix by just adding more burnt sienna. Alright, I need to go to my next smaller brush. Well, I don't know if it's my next smaller brush, but my smaller brush. So after I do my first wash, if I'm doing something like this, I like to go in and start working on my darkest darks. That way I have my lightest areas, I have my darkest areas, and then it makes it easier to do the midtones. Now, this is my darkest area, but it is not the final darkest color yet, because that will take some building. And I went in too far, so I need to take my little magic sponge here, wet it in my clean, and right on the toe needs to stay light. So I'll just take that little bit out there. It's scuffed. It's an old shoe. Oh, you didn't see the original picture? Here we go. There's the original picture, Dr. Dot. There you go. I'm just teasing you, Dot. So my darkest darks. Now I really need to go to the smaller brush because I need some fine lines here. Finer than that, so I need to thin that out there. These sponges are the greatest thing ever if you're a watercolorist. Ooh! I'll tell ya, I love them. They're from Cheap Joe, Magic Sponge. So if you're in the US, they probably sell them online. I still have to go in with the darkest brown for this, but I'm just doing it in this burnt sienna first. Then I will do a mix where I add some ultramarine to the burnt sienna to darken it a little more. Right now I am trying to just go over my pencil lines, basically, so I can see where my dark areas are here. On the tongue. No, this is different than makeup sponges. It's more like the Mr. Clean sponges, but it doesn't have any like cleaning stuff in it. No, they're not. They're not makeup sponges. They are different. Try and show you. The texture is different. They're like the Mr. Clean sponges. And you use it until it like goes away completely. It's quite different. The texture is quite different. Just like old watermarks and stuff like that on them. So there's a shape here, but it's not the darkest brown, so I shouldn't really be worrying about this. Okay. All right. Inside is the darkest brown here. The sole of the shoe. Oh, I went. Hold on. I'm not seeing my pencil lines very well here. Then in this shoe, then there's darkest brown here and inside there. Oh, yeah. All right, bye, Grammy. Thanks for coming. Alright, so now I have to mix. Got a couple of, still have lots of details to add, but I need to mix my dark. My dark is dark. No, Suzanne, I have to call my doctor about that. My voice is still not, like, she gave me the Nasonex to use, but I can only use steroids in my sinuses 4 days in a row, and then I have to stop because they start bleeding and get sore and irritated with the steroids. So, oh, forgot. I have to do the... So I do have to make that doctor's appointment, as my voice is still not normal. Yeah, Joan would want to plant flowers in my shoes. With the time change, Jen streams 8 Eastern time, U.S. time. Alright, I missed an area here where I have to do my shading where the two shoes meet. But that's going to have a coat of my darker color anyway, so, but I want to have it there in the lighter color so that I don't forget it. Yeah. Helen, it's Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern for us. It's her Friday in Australia. Alright, so now I need to mix. Now, I think this is right. I could be proven wrong. We shall see, shan't we? What the heck? Just a minute. Oh, it's kids outside playing. I didn't know what the heck I was hearing. I was hearing these weird sounds. It sounded like a cat crying. Anyway, it's kids outside playing. Or a kid crying. Actually, I think it's a kid crying. And I want this to be, I probably have too much. I may have too much water in it, but we'll see. Because this is going to be a detail color, I want it to be a little thicker. Now, I'm not going to need much ultramarine here. So I'm going to take some ultramarine, put it up here. It doesn't take much. You can see that it makes a nice kind of burnt umber color. Alright, let's see if it's dark enough. It may be too thick. So what I'm going to do what's called the two brush technique. So I'm going to have my larger brush damp but clean, and my fine brush is going to put on the color. So you can see right off that it's made it darker, tinted it just a little bit to the blue color. No, I have to do it this way because I want to have the tip of my brush along the edge so I can try and get my edge nice and straight here, or straight-ish. And I'm not holding it up straight enough, so I'm not getting fine enough. So I'm just going to work on this section first. I may have to add a little more blue to this. Not sure it's dark enough. We'll see. Then I take this clean brush and use it to go along the edge. I think this needs to be a little wider. I'm going to add another layer of dark there and just make it a little bit thicker. I organize it, Helen, and I may have it ready to post late tonight, but it'll be up tomorrow for sure for streamers to fill in, and then I will update the post as people add their name to the list who want to stream. And then I will also put in links for streamers. A link to their Ustream, and a link to their blog if they post, a pattern or list products if you want to work along with them. Sometimes that happens, sometimes not. Alright, so now I have to go along and do the thinner line. Oh, put a little too much down, so I'm going to take my clean brush and feather it out some. I talked about it just at the beginning of this recording. The New Year's Eve Streamathon. Actually, that's going to be good enough because I'm going to have to make it darker for the shoelaces yet. So this is good for my shoe, actually, I think. I think this is dark enough. So I'm going up onto the tip of my brush to get a finer line and very gentle pressure. And I have kind of some like a indent here, so there's a bigger shadow to show that the shoe is kind of lifting up in that spot. So you can see the tiny bit of ultramarine I needed to add to this burnt sienna. And the more ultramarine you add, the closer it gets to a nice black. All right. Take my clean brush. There's kind of a really cool detail here that comes down here. Oops. Well, not that cool. Needs a little more damp. Don't want this brush to be really wet. You just want it to be wet enough to feather those edges. Alright, so now I have to do... Alright, I'm going to use my larger one for this. My larger brush for inside here because the areas are larger that are dark. See how the dark really defines your light. Oops. And that very inside is really going to have I need to do. I can't believe this, but I ran out of paper towels. I think when my cleaning crew was here cleaning last time in the kitchen. I think they used paper towels instead of J-cloths in the cleaning because I had six new rolls, of which I only used 2, and now I have none. So I think that they really... Oh, I have to use my... Hold on. I need to use my stiffer brush to pick this up, I think. Always takes longer to do these than you think it's going to take. I was like, oh, I can get 2 or 3 done. I'll be lucky if I get 1 done on my stream here. Alright, so now I have to go in and work around here. All right, so I wanted to make this kind of a quick sketch, but yeah, it's not turning out to be just a quick sketch, is it? So I'm putting color down, and then it's kind of trying to make it look like wrinkled there. So I'm putting color down and then moving it around. a little bit of this up. I got a little too overexcited there. Same over here. I'm going to go in some of my lighter color, which is just the burnt sienna, and kind of blend those in a little bit because it needs a little more color in the light areas, in the mid-tone areas, I should say. Ooh! Little too much. I have to do a glaze of my, in a couple of areas, I think with my quinacridone gold. Oh, all right, have to go in with my hog hair brush here and take out just a fine line. Yeah, I went a little too far there. Oh, wrong. Sorry, went into my wrong color. Alright, so a couple more detail spots here with my darker color. I do need one more gradient of dark, which is also going to be the shadow. And the shoelaces, so. Okay, so let's start on the second shoe here. Sorry, I'm not chatting much. Thanks, Joan. Not too bad. Not bad as for my own drawing. Proportionally, yeah, not great, but hey, working on it, right? My damp brush. Soften that edge because the shadow of a shoe is not going to be a really distinct line, so it needs to be a little bit thicker, I think, right here. And in with my brush. Sorry. Gotta reposition my legs a little bit here. One moment, please. Don't want my knees to lock up on me. Alright, so now let's do the inside of this one. Oops, a little too much there. So I'm kind of keeping it wet and layering wet on wet here to try and keep a soft look so that you can tell it's fabric, or well, it's suede, but whatever. Alright, so I'm going to try. Alright, go in with my lighter color here again. I'm going to go back in with a little bit of the dark again while it's still wet. Yeah, my uncle was in the Canadian Air Force, and he was saved by his pencil. I've told this story before. He was a ham radio operator. And so he went to his post. He showed up at his post, and someone had taken his pencil. He didn't have a pencil, and no one had an extra one, so he went back to his barracks to grab another pencil. And while he was gone, his station was bombed. So we like to say he was saved by his pencil. He's passed away now. Lived to be, how old was he when he died? 88, I think. I'm going with my smaller one for the holes of the shoelaces. Trying to do essence of eyelets in the holes for the shoelaces. Thanks, Jillian. Oh. Now, before I do my darkest details, I need to add, hold on, or not, yeah, I need to add a little gold to a couple of areas, but I also need to add a little bit more color to this side. It has to be a little darker because it's back further. Okay, so just before I add I need to do one more layer of really almost gray dark. So I'll have to put a little more ultramarine in with some, I need to add kind of a glaze of gold. So I'm going to dry this. So I need some Quin Gold. Oh, I've got some water in there already. So let's get some quinacridone. Nickel quinacridone gold it is. It's a very lovely, lovely warm yellow. And this is going to be a glaze, which means I'm doing wet over dry and not over the whole shoe. Just some of these areas here where it looks a little more, and it's going to help make the other parts look even older, because it's just going to warm up some of these areas a little bit here. I might have been able to go with my Azo orange, but that's okay. This will work. I just want to warm it up a little bit in some of these areas. Doesn't need a lot. It just needs in a few areas. Would have been too hard to mix the Azo orange because it's really, really potent. Alright, and I'm going to have to do another glaze of the brown, but first I'm going to mix my darkest color. So I think I have enough of the color there to, oh no, I'm going to have to, I'll do another mix because I'm going to do another glaze of that. Alright, so once again, and I want this to be fairly thick, so I'm not going to add a whole lot of water, but you do need some. So I'm going to do a mix with even more ultramarine than last time, but I don't want to do too much, so I'm gonna, it's going to be even darker, but I want to make sure it's not gone quite, I don't want to quite go to gray, so let's find a piece of paper I can test it on here. There we go. Look at that little yummy color. It's not black, that's a very dark brown. See that? All right. So I hope I have enough mixed. So let's do my details first. So, shoelaces. For heaven's sakes, Jean. Hi, Debbie. I missed anyone else? Oh, thanks, Janet. Not too bad. Not too bad at all, I don't think. So this one, it's coming up here and going into there. And this one's just going here, but it's going right over that edge. But then it comes under here. And it comes out of this one and goes over to here. Oh, and this comes under here. Oh, I think I messed that up. Oh, no. I messed up. They're tied wrong. Oh well. Whatever. I couldn't tell. I should have zoomed in. No, they're not. Okay, I got them right. Alright. I zoomed in for this set. And I am not putting the braiding in on the shoelaces. So don't even ask. Okay, so this comes from here and it comes up and goes down in that one. Then from here it goes up into the last one. From here it goes under. And then comes under here. Into that one. Okay. So now I have to add a little dark. A little of this dark has to go in here. Is Ella streaming tonight, you guys? Is this Ella's night or not? Because if no one's streaming after me, I might do another prompt. While I'm in the mood. I like adding the details. I like this part of the art. Making it pop. Making things come to life a little bit more. Oh, I need to wet my... If your brush isn't wet enough, the paint will not leave your brush. Okay, and just a little wee bit of dark in here. Ouch. Oh, no, Ella? Okay. Oh, thanks, Dar. Well, these are kind of like, I think they're like Doc Martens or something. You know, those old suede. I had a pair of shoes like this. They were so comfortable. Mine were Clarks, though, I think. That I had like this. They were Clarks from the UK. Alright, and now, before I do my final glaze, I just need to add the shadow here at the bottom on the ground here. The grass, I should say. I think it needs more ultramarine. It has to be more gray. Well, I think I put too much in now. May have to go back and add some burnt sienna. Nope, not bad. See, you eventually get to a gray. It's hard to tell in the palette if you have the right color or not. Okay, I think I need to use my 2-brush method. Oh, really, Eileen? I heard about it when it happened. They assumed he faked his death long ago, but they just found him, Olivia Newton-John's ex. Wow. Oh, poor, ugh. So she has to go through all that and her cancer's back. Well, that sucks big time. Okay, so now I just need to do the final wash. That should be dry. Over this, I want to tone down the gold just a little bit with some. So I'm just going to do a final wash of burnt sienna. So it'll be the brown again, but it'll be more lively. There we go. And trying to do it with a fairly dry brush. See if I can get a bit of a, keep that suede texture. All right, I am calling that done, but now I need to add the quote. And so this is making it mixed media because I'm going to add marker. Woo! Okay, that's the brush. I don't want the brush one. All right, I'm going to dry this because I'm going to keep putting my hand in it. All right, and it's prompt. Oh, I didn't put the prompt. It's prompt 7. Oh, sorry, I'm off screen. Oops. Apologize. They're a little too straight. I didn't get them quite shaped right, but oh well. All right, so do my best fancy script here, printing. Oh, can't even see me. I'm sorry I was off screen doing that. Oh, thanks, Jillian. All right. Well, that's not the only thing that causes. I mean, my dad died of lung cancer. It was adenocarcinoma. It was secondary in the lung. We don't know where it started, but it was in the lining of his lung. It was the type of lung cancer that was not caused by smoking. And in 1964, when it came out that smoking caused cancer, he quit the day he heard the news, threw out his pack of cigarettes and quit that day. T-O-K-U T-O-K-U G-A-W-A. I'm just going to make sure it's prompt 7. Well, Joan, there seem to still be a lot more from seeing films and movies and like Celebrity Big Brother and Big Brother UK. There seem to be a lot more smokers over there in the UK still than in Canada. Smoking's gone down a lot here in the UK, in Canada, but so there's one done. If you watch the recording, thank you so much. I might stay, but I'm going to stop this recording. Thank you so much.